If you're wanting to try and figure out which Brain Guy session is the one for you, what's the right option to choose, then we'll just run through them and see if we can give you a little bit of guidance. So, first and foremost, we have the one to one sessions. And so they're just a really beautiful space to dive into because we can kind of go deep on whatever it is that you actually need. And there'll be learning, there'll be unfoldment of the true self, there'll be diving into whatever it is that comes up. It's unique and it's individual, and it will always be specifically whatever it is that's right for you. We're dealing with mind, we're dealing with brain. And so there's really nothing that we can't affect in profoundly positive ways because brain and mind are the governing control systems that literally control everything that you're experiencing in your life and in your world. So there's kind of nothing that's off limits. There's nothing that we can't change in terms of your experience of life. And that's both in your inner world and your outer world. Then we can move on to the group sessions. And so there's two different types of group sessions. And the first one we call is a group healing and up leveling session. So up leveling the mind, upgrading the mind in a group capacity. And that is a really, truly beautiful space because what you're doing is you're stepping inside this group space where there's no guilt, there's no wrong that you can do. You're completely safe. You're in a space where it's just peaceful and you have a whole bunch of people who are wanting to give to you the thing that you truly need, the thing that you truly most want. Because what we're downloading from infinite intelligence is always the thing that you most truly need so that you can experience the perfection of what is the perfection that you are. And that will be given to you via a process of just no strings attached giving, which is how giving actually truly is. And so when your mind learns what giving is, which is no strings attached, giving with no thought of receiving, well, your mind begins to learn giving truly. And when you do that, you eliminate the concept of loss. And so when you unlearn loss, the world that you find yourself living in is a very, very different world. And when you give your mind an experience of experiencing what it is to live in a world or be in a world, be in a space where there's only love and there's only peace and there's only freedom and there's only joy and there's no wrong you can do and there's no guilt and there's no shame and no suffering. Well, when your mind has an experience of that, well, it begins to learn the world truly. And you don't experience anything outside of your mind. The entire experience of the world for you happens inside your mind. So when you begin to teach your mind the world as it truly is, well, you literally begin to restore heaven on earth. And that's really what these sessions are all about. So the same thing, you will turn up and there'll be a desire that you truly want, something that you really want to try and manifest out of that process. It could be healing, it could be trying to bring something good, some manifesting something positive in your life. But whatever you turn up with is what will be covered, but we'll also be going at whatever that higher intelligence that actually knows what you need and what's most important. That's what I'll be wanting to come through for you. And 9.9 times out of 10, that will cover the thing that you're consciously aware of that you're looking for. The final session that we have is what we call a limitless unfoldment of mind. And this limitless unfoldment of mind is available to people who typically have already done one of those other two processes. So if you've done a one-to-one session or you've done a group healing and up-leveling session, well, the limitless unfoldment will be absolutely available to you because we've already up-leveled your mind. So that would mean that there's simply something now that's available to unfold. We've gone and planted seeds. We've planted beautiful new seeds of true beliefs, true faith, faith in truth, and a higher level of mind. You've gone and planted all of these seeds in the mind, and what we're doing when we're in that limitless unfoldment process is you're beginning to look at the true self. You're beginning to look at this idea of who you truly are. And everything you want in your life comes from the true self. True self's perfect. True self's limitless, infinite, eternal, beautiful. Just everything you're looking for in your life comes from the true self. Your very best life can only be lived by your very best version of self. Very best version of self is your very true self. And so when you begin to place your attention on the true self, well, where you place your attention is where you're directing your energy. And where your energy goes, well, you're pouring your energy into what you're making that you will later say is the reality that you experience. So whatever you look at is where you're directing your energy. That energy that you're pouring into it is making the reality that you are going to say that you experience. And this is why this session is really important because you can just do the one-on-one, you can just do the group healing and up-leveling, and that's absolutely fine. And hundreds of people have done that and completely changed their experience of life. But if you continue on any level to place a value on the false values that are held in the world, on things like pain, on things like suffering, on things like judgment, on things like lower level emotions of anger and sadness and fear and all these other things, if whatever you hold value on, whatever you give an importance to, consciously or unconsciously, your mind will continue to choose for that. And so, if you feel that it's challenging to break away from the old experience of life because people just expect you to be the memory of who they thought that you truly were, the memory that you've always shown up as, when you're no longer showing up as the memory and it feels challenging because other people are saying, "What happened to the old you?" Well, there's a value. If that feels challenging, it's because you've got a value placed on other people's opinions, or you've got a value placed on the values held in the minds of others. And if that's creating a pull, if that feels like it's a hurdle to overcome, and you're struggling to do that, then this limitless unfoldment of mind session is an amazing thing for you, because it'll just teach you to look at the true self. It'll teach you to look at what's true. It'll teach you to look at what's actually truly valuable to you, what you place a value on, and the more you see that, the more you'll place your energy into that. And the more that you find yourself making that and unfolding that as your reality. And it's the most powerful thing in the world to literally know the true self, to truly know thyself, and then say, "This is who I am. This is who I am. And I'm never going back because this is everything that I want." And then it's the collective witnessing. You're doing that in front of a group of others who are looking and seeing and witnessing you in that new state of being as well, that new level of mind, and saying, "Wow, that really is you." And there you have it. You literally have that vision. You then have the habits. You then have the thoughts. You then know who and what it is that you're unfolding. And you'll just continue to choose for that person because your attention will be placed on that person. You'll have a much clearer vision of who you are. And from there, you can unfold your very best version of self and your very best life. So, those are the three different sessions. The one-to-one sessions, anybody can jump in from scratch. The group healing and up-leveling sessions, that's pretty much everybody. But if you're not sure about it, please, by all means, just check in for suitability. And for the limitless unfoldment, well, that'll typically be for people who have already done some of those other processes. And if you're not sure, by all means, just check in. But if you're trying to figure this out for yourself, feel into your heart. Your heart is a perception device. It's a perception device that can be used truly. So if you get still, if you slow down, if you try and let go of judgment, let go of all other false values, and just feel into your heart and just look at each one and which one gives you peace, which one gives you a sense of peace, you'll kind of know the direction that you're meant to be going in. So I hope that's helpful, and I will very much look forward to seeing you in one of those sessions sometime very soon.